The film starts by introducing us to a German man called Sebastian. He runs an unsuccessful YouTube channel about codes, patterns, and especially safes. Today, Sebastian is filming a video about his favorite safe inventor, Hans Wagner. After Wagner's family passed, he secluded himself and created 4 impenetrable safes. He locked himself in a safe in his grief, and despite everyone's best attempts to rescue him, the safe was impossible to open. In the end, Wagner was dropped in the ocean inside his safe, making it serve as his tomb. Legend says the 4 safes are still in Europe to this day. However, if anyone tries to break into them and fails at solving the combination, the contents get burned to dust. Sebastian posts the story of Wagner on his channel, but then he has to get back to his mundane life. He makes breakfast, purchases coffee from the same store he does every day, and then travels to the bank, where he works as a teller, to start another dull and repetitive day. On the news, he learns of an odd zombie apocalypse in Las Vegas. The next day, a mysterious invitation to an address is left on one of Sebastian's videos. He rides the train, uncomfortably utters the password, and arrives at a safe-cracking competition underground. Just in time for the following round, which involves bigger safes and more difficult locks, Sebastian manages to open it. To go to the finals, Sebastian and another guy must take 3 minutes to break open a huge vault. Sebastian attempts to strike up a conversation, but he is unconcerned about the timer, knowing he can easily do it because of his sharp talents. He receives a smirk from legendary bank thief Gwendolyn. As Sebastian gets home, he proudly displays his prize next to the photos of his family, but can't help but think about Gwendolyn. Sebastian is startled by Gwendolyn in the coffee shop the next morning. She admits that she was the one who left comments on his films. She also took goods from folks in his immediate vicinity, since she is a skilled jewelry thief. In order to get into Wagner's safes, which will be shipped from the US, she wants to enlist Sebastian. Because the safes are soon to be deactivated and their contents would be permanently lost, time is essential here, so they must move fast. They have 4 days to pull off 3 worldwide heists, and Sebastian will have the ability to have a unique life during this time. Sebastian watches the zombie apocalypse on television while at work and is alarmed by strange noises coming from the hallways of his apartment. A zombie girl assaults him when he discovers her, but it's all just a nightmare. Sebastian chooses to accept the invitation and visit Gwendolyn, even if the world is going to end. Brad Cage, an American macho guy who sees himself as the team's leader, and Corina, a Spanish expert hacker who has been at it since she was 10 years old, are the members of the team whom Gwen presents to him. Brad introduces himself in a terse manner and cautions Sebastian against making a mistake. Sebastian is delighted to join them but astonished that there are only 5 of them. The squad is briefed by Corina about the task. The safe with the fewest combinations has over $4 million, hidden in France, a more complicated one has over $40 million waiting in Prague, and the safe with the most complicated combination contains over $100 million and is located in Switzerland. The squad initially heads to Paris, where Sebastian becomes terrified as the American takes out a large revolver and becomes concerned about getting apprehended. Gwendolyn instructs him to picture how robbery movies work and goes over the strategy once again. Sebastian will enter first and hide in the restroom, followed by Gwen, who will take the keys from the guard and get access to her safety deposit box. When Gwen and Sebastian walk down to the Wagner safe, Corina distracts the staff. Sebastian has an incident with the safe, and his odd behavior leads to a tangent regarding Wagner's background. To get in the mood, he listens to opera music. Due to the depth of the vault, he has problems hearing the cogs and clicking, but after a few tries, he unlocks the 3 combination locks and, to his surprise, opens the safe. Sebastian thinks he is unstoppable in opening a Wagner safe, and Gwen is in amazement at his prowess. Sebastian moves in for a kiss on Gwen but pulls back after misinterpreting her response. To buy them long enough to load the bags and flee with the cash, Brad diverts the bank personnel. In the getaway vehicle, Sebastian celebrates, naively but erratically. Top agents Delacroix and Beatrix at the Interpol base evaluate the situation. They plan to intercept Brad and Gwen before they attack the other Wagner safes, because they have video footage of them. The squad makes sandwiches, plays games, and drinks to celebrate their triumph. Brad and Gwen find Sebastian to be impressive. Sebastian flirts with Corina, but he's too unaware and preoccupied with Gwen. She informs him that Sebastian has no chance with her, since Gwen and Brad are linked by their terrible upbringings and their shared history. After Gwen has an altercation with Brad, whose true name is Alexis, Sebastian offers her a drink of water. Sebastian tells Gwen about his upbringing when she makes fun of his difficult German family name, how he liked to solve codes and make comic books, and how he was a shy loner. He decides to use the persona he invented as a youth, Ludwig Dieter. Gwen discusses her history. She speaks of her uptight wealthy family, and how meeting Alexis and stealing made her feel alive. What she wants right now is to pull off their triple robbery, a feat that will go down in history. She also had a similar fantasy about visiting Nevada and discovering an old vault. Sebastian spending time with his girlfriend has Alexis fuming. The group eventually makes it to Prague. Alexis is unduly critical of Sebastian's remarks while they scout the bank. Delacroix plans to surprise them, but Beatrix worries that they'll pick a different hiding place and avoid Interpol. In the van, unlike in France, there are a lot more security checks and variables, which makes the issue more serious. By frightening Sebastian and ignoring him, Alexis makes things worse. While Gwen reassures him, Sebastian is more concerned about security than his safe-cracking abilities. He enters, uses Corina's forged identification to get past security, and then complies with directions to use the elevator. A mistake in the CCTV footage is noticed by the security guard. Sebastian meets up with Gwen, who is using a phony secretary ID, by pretending to unlock a door. She becomes upset when Sebastian chooses to inquire as to why she kept her and Alexis's relationship a secret from him. She vents her annoyance on the security personnel. She takes them by surprise, injures them with martial kicks and chops, and then knocks them unconscious. Sebastian is simultaneously horrified and inspired. As they reach the safe, Sebastian begins his custom of stroking the safe closely while performing opera and recounting Wagner's history. Delacroix loses patience and rushes the bank. After forcing them to unlock the vault, he realizes he is in the incorrect institution, since the Wagner safe has been relocated to a different branch. As the security guards review the video showing Sebastian without any keys, they see that their feed is being tampered with. As a result, they sound a small alarm, which locks the elevators and the area around the vault. Alexis chooses to change to a more forceful plan B. He enters, brandishing weapons, fires tranquilizing darts at the security, then grabs them and throws one to the ground. Sebastian is concerned when he hears a gunshot. Gwen realizes that they will be apprehended if they don't move quickly, but this puts additional pressure on Sebastian, and he commits a blunder. The vault recognizes his existence, and if he makes another mistake, it will remain sealed indefinitely. The couple start squabbling because they are both stressed out. Alexis gathers the clients and shoots further warning bullets. Delacroix is on the march and heading straight towards them. The bank raises all the alarms, so that the local cops will also be on their track. After a stressful moment, Sebastian unlocks all three devices, and the vault is now open. He and Gwen rejoice and almost share another kiss when Corina's warning calls break it off. They receive the cash and depart, but Alexis is met by a senior security guard with a handgun. When he leaps out of the window after punching the elderly guy many times, he gets shot in the shoulder. Gwen and Sebastian are now running to catch up to the getaway vehicle when he gets inside it. After assisting Gwen, Alexis chooses to shove Sebastian away, leaving him on the road and vulnerable to the police. This is terrifying for Gwen, Rolf, and Corina, but they must continue moving. When Sebastian rushes onto a nearby street, the cops see him and give pursuit. Sebastian then takes a maritime road and grabs a bike. He rides his bike beneath a bridge to evade the cruisers and then enters the ancient town. He eludes the police, stumbles down some steps, and collapses into a couch. He keeps going down a little alley and arrives at the railroad tracks. He runs after a train and, like Alexis, is able to get on by himself. Sebastian, who is now secure, struggles greatly with the revelation of the treachery. Gwendolen is upset with Alexis, who is planning their next course of action. In the interim, Alexis prevents her from going back for Sebastian, despite her desire. She is hugged passionately as he professes his love. In front of everyone, Gwen calls him by his true name and declares that she no longer gives a damn. As she jumps out of the van, Corina appears behind her, holding their respective part of the cash. Despite her wrath, Alexis doesn't go looking for them. When returning to his flat with tears in his eyes, Sebastian is startled by Corina and Gwen. They apologize sincerely and clarify that Rolf and Alexis only wanted the money and not the glory or the task. Sebastian is unhappy and requests that they leave. He wants to return to his dull work. If they manage to open the final safe, according to Gwen, they'll make history. Even if Sebastian has given up hope, there is yet adventure for him, and she still has faith in him. As Corina and Gwen insist they need him and eventually accept the suicide mission, Sebastian has a change of heart. By comparing surveillance footage to Sebastian's YouTube channel, Delacroix discovers Sebastian's identity in the meanwhile. Corina makes fun of Sebastian for having another nightmare about zombies by suggesting that it is an expression of his inadequacies and self-doubt. The safe will be taken tonight to a casino when the group arrives in Switzerland. Delacroix is prepared for them and has already assigned squads. He walks into the casino and is shocked to see that, on Interpol's recommendation, safe transit was expedited. Delacroix goes into a tailspin. 8 hours before, Gwen had engaged in combat with truck movers as Corina breached the casino and pretended to be Interpol. Now we see how the casino was tricked. Sebastian now has the difficult duty of opening the vault in the loud-moving truck. When she takes the vehicle, retrieves the vault, and picks him up. He begins his bizarre ritual, turns on opera music, stretches, and then tells Gwen the story of Siegfried and Wagner. Sebastian starts with the first combination lock, while keeping an ear out for the gears turning. Using her phone, Rolf and Alexis can determine where Gwen is, and that she is in possession of the vault. Even when Corina attempts to stop them, it's too late. She notifies Gwen and smashes her phone before Delacroix captures her. Sebastian has found 4 of the 7 combinations, but they are now aware of him. Delacroix becomes enraged by Corina's antics and assaults her, but Beatrix restrains him and warns Corina that until she gives information about the location of the vault, her younger brother will no longer have anybody to watch out for him. While Sebastian has successfully opened 6 of the 7 locks, the truck still rolls to the left and right when it comes to the challenging turns. Sebastian comically manages to hang on for his life, then goes on to open the safe and enjoys his success. He admits to Gwen that he now fully comprehends Wagner's art and his melancholy. Alexis raises a rifle at them as they descend after collecting the money. In case Gwen does not accept him back, he threatens to shoot Sebastian. He attempts to shoot Sebastian many times when she rejects him. Gwen admits that she removed the firing pin and now has the only handgun that is usable. Alexis's wrist gets humorously damaged as Sebastian tries to hit him. Alexis hears from Gwen that he's not a hero. She ties him to the vehicles at gunpoint and then escapes with Sebastian and the money. Alexis is repeatedly punched by Delacroix as he makes fun of his name after arriving. Sebastian ultimately confesses his feelings for Gwen to her in the automobile. She claims he's chosen the worst moment to express his affection, but still kisses him. When the two make their way to the boat, Delacroix abruptly orders them to freeze. Corina has ditched and sold them out. Gwen points her gun at him, and everything comes to a halt. She gives him a cash bag, but he declines, since she is a prime target. Gwen proposes to trade herself for Sebastian's release, or she and Delacroix can shoot each other. Strangely, Delacroix agrees and claims not to have seen Sebastian. Sebastian screams and resists, but Gwen forces him to go, saying they'll meet again at another time, another life. He boards the boat and departs. Sebastian obtains passports and plane tickets for all of them and realizes that Gwen did not want to abandon him. It pains his heart to say goodbye to the person he most wanted to spend time with. Sebastian ultimately relocates to the United States and is now employed as a locksmith in Las Vegas. A man and his girlfriend who have a blueprint of one of Wagner's safes in Latin America approach him. They will give him $250,000 if he can open it. Sebastian sets out on a brand new heist to fulfill Gwen's dream.